How long does it take for your website to rank on Google, and how long should it be till you see results from your SEO efforts? Hey, how are you guys? It is Harrison Barron from harrisonbarron.com, and in this video, like I said, we are going to be covering what results you should be expecting and how long it's actually going to take to start seeing the results from your SEO efforts. Now, I'm not going to make you wait in this video. I'm going to tell you guys right now. However, you should follow through to the end of the video because I'm going to share with you guys real world examples of how long it's actually going to take for your website to start ranking. So right off the bat, the simple answer is between 1 year and 2 years in time till you actually see the results that you're hoping for. Now, if you're a brand new website, this could take even longer. However, there are ways to accelerate this process. Now, in general, most websites are not SEO optimized, search engine optimization. That means their page speeds are lacking, their user experience is lacking. Just overall, it's just a poor feeling on the website and people don't love it. Could be lack of images, could just be the way it's formatted. There's a variety of reasons why people might not like being on your website. If you go through this process, you are going to have a way better opportunity of having people visit your website and stay on your website, thus increasing the amount of viewers and how much Google actually represents you online. But the simple answer is 1 to 2 years. Now, there are also other areas that you should know about when you are focusing on SEO. So ultimately, how long has your website actually been around for? How long have you had a basic website sitting up there for? Are you even going to go through the Google sandbox? A new website will typically sit in the Google sandbox, the area where Google says, hey, you know what? We're not sure if we actually trust you, for about 3 to 6 months. Unfortunately, that's just how Google is, and they will just kind of censor you until they trust you enough to start sending traffic. But ultimately, once again, it comes down to your level of experience and your ability to build a beautiful website where people actually enjoy being there. There's a very large difference between beautiful website design and well-functioning websites. Keep that in mind. Now, there's additional ways that you can start to build your website and get it to grow even faster than a year or two, and those are areas like social signals. Even though Google has come out and said that social signals don't really matter, it seems to be proven false time and time again. The second area is backlinking, where other websites are going to be linking back to you. Sounds kind of crazy, but ultimately you want more and more traffic. Now, there are tons of strategies for both of these, and we're not going to be covering that in this video. What we are going to be covering is a real world example with my website, harrisonbarron.com. Now, I officially launched my website on April 22nd of last year, which would be 2020. And I want to share with you guys my results because I think my results will actually come to the light and share with you guys and show you guys exactly what you can expect based on what you were doing. Now, when I first launched my website, I didn't quite know much about SEO. I just knew that I needed to create a ton of content, and I've been progressively learning and getting better over time, which is probably where you're at. If you're watching this video, you're either just starting out or you're kind of got your toes wet and you want to learn more. Now, I happen to create a ton of content. However, the rule or the thought process of 9 women do not make a baby in 1 month is so true, and I'm actually going to show you guys the analytics that prove my point. Now, there's some cool fancy statistics. Only 5.7% of all studied pages rank in the top 10% on Google, or the first page on Google, I should say. And there are various content areas that will either have more competition or less competition. Either way, some of you may be in an area where there's tons and tons of competition. For example, if you're competing in the digital marketing or SEO space, we understand how valuable it is to create content, versus if you are maybe a farmer or a contractor or just an area where people aren't creating tons of content. This is an area where you have the ability to thrive. Now, keep this in mind because this is incredibly important to share with you guys. That way you know what kind of success you can have. If you're in a very saturated market, it's going to be a lot slower and only the cream of the crop is going to rise. Whereas if you're in a much more scarce area, meaning that there's not that much content being made, you could probably rank much faster than most other people, and the results will be incredibly impressive. Now, there are other factors. There's backlinking, where somebody will link back to your website, and there's social signals, which Google has come out and said, hey, you know what? We don't really count social signals, but time and time again, this seems to be false. Now, backlinking is just another website linking back to you, Either way, these are both good for your website as long as they're not spammy and you're going out and either buying these areas or they just look like shady spots where Google wouldn't particularly love to send traffic back to you. Now we're going to jump into my computer here and we're actually going to go through my chart, my website, so you guys can see how long it's been over the last just over a year or so, and I think it's really important that you guys actually see it. So this is my website, harrisonbaron.com. If you've been a subscriber to my channel, which you definitely should subscribe to my channel if you are here watching this video, as I post tons of content about how you can grow online, this is a brand new website. So it's not completely done yet, but I wanted to launch it sooner than later, which I think is really important. Most people wait too long to launch their websites, causing their SEO to slow down. My personal recommendation is fire up your website, get a basic website up there, and start going through the Google sandbox, which is the spot where Google really doesn't send much traffic to you for about 3 to 6 months. But in here, there are 243 blogs. You can see them all here, and I constantly am writing and working on new articles all the time. Now, I haven't posted an article too recently because I've been in the process of creating an entire new website. However, you guys can see here that this is an entire cutover from my old website, which was actually built on a great platform called Kajabi. I just wanted a little more functionality and feature. But this is where it gets pretty interesting. So I started my website officially and launched it on April 22nd. Now, once again, always launch your website earlier than you would really think about building actual traffic to it. This will once again get you in and out of the Google sandbox sooner than later. But if you look here, we can go to April 22nd here, and this is kind of where I officially count as launch day. And over the last just over a year, I've gotten 264,000 impressions and almost just over 3,500 clicks. Now, for some of you guys, you might be thinking, well, that's not that many, or you might be thinking, oh my goodness, that's an incredible amount of growth. Either way, I appreciate you being here. Now, the cool part is, and this is not going to be a Google Search Console tutorial, however, I will be creating that down the road. I did want to share the fact that if you actually look here and you can see the total impressions, you'll see that it kind of just sits here at 5, 7, 10, and then there's a little break here, and I keep seeing this over and over again on various websites where you'll have a major little spike. And in this case, when you're going from 20 impressions a day to about 60, there seems to be some massive growth that tends to follow. And I keep seeing this once again over and over and over again. So you'll see here that it starts to grow, and it keeps growing more and more aggressively. It's kind of like a snowball effect when you're doing SEO. The key is you can't give up and you have to keep adding fuel to the fire. And when you do, you'll start to have this website that kind of excessively grows more and more. And you'll see here that there's another spike, and I foresee this continuously growing time and time again. Now, you can actually see that the clicks, for the most part, follow, and they keep following and following over time. And now I've gotten to the point where I have not had a day where I haven't gotten any clicks, which is really, really cool. And you'll see that right now it's a little bit of a downtrend, which I would expect to happen as we are in summertime now. Less people are working, but during the winter time, in the fall and spring, this will then progressively go up as more and more people search and find my articles online. Now, I will also let you guys know that because I had started my SEO journey really in the early part of last year, I was not an SEO expert. So this is something that you could absolutely get a hold of and earn yourself if you do go launch a website. Now, I've gotten much better. I have yet to still go through and clean up a lot of my content, but you can actually see here, now I'm starting to get most of my traffic is all organic. It's not even referral traffic. It's just Google sending directly traffic to me. Now, you're probably wondering, Harrison, why is there a little gap here? The gap is just because I was swapping over websites and I didn't have my information plugged into Google. But you could go through here, we'll see channels here, or better yet, we'll go through an overview of all the traffic. You can see a beautiful little overview. I'll pull it out to the last year here, and you guys will be able to get a great idea on what you can actually expect on your website. And I'm going to just pick the actual date that I started it here. So April 22nd to July 15th, this is the growth that it looks like. Now, these are clicks coming through to my website. So you have your organic, you have your social, you have your direct referral, and email. Now, at this time, there was a lot of people visiting my website, especially in the beginning, because I was constantly posting about it pretty much everywhere, and I got to be the point where, hey, people were checking out my website just because I had relevant information on there. However, at that point, the SEO really wasn't quite there. I was just kind of artificially inflating those numbers. But as you could see, as July came around, I stopped doing that, and it's been a pretty much organic growth this entire way going forward. So if you're looking to do SEO and you say, hey, you know what, this is something I want to sink my teeth into, you could get some pretty great results over time. I mean, this is a pretty great uptrend if you go to the monthly area, and you can constantly see that growth is obviously happening. Here in June, you won't see, or better yet, July, you won't see much of a growth, but this is something that you can easily expect by writing content. And the best part is, because I've added so much content, you can expect to see these results yourself as long as you're constantly adding about one blog per week and consistently growing it. How hard is a blog per week? You'll have to subscribe to the channel because I will be covering that in my next couple videos. Other than that, I hope you guys found value in this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit like, hit that subscribe button, little notification bell, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.